on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You know who it is by now.
Jimothy.
So ladies and gents, we are back, and it has been a while since I've done a locals vlog. I've just been focusing on trying to get some live duels for you guys just to hit the channel because there's so many decks out there right now. However, we are back at locals. We are competing today and we are playing a new deck. Surprise, surprise. It's just like a meme of me basically. And that deck that we're playing is Vanquish Souls. Now, ladies and gents, I haven't had much practice with the deck. I've tried to play the deck in a couple of just like practice duels and I've just epically gone wrong. So I'm going to be recording my duels and you're likely to see quite a few misplays, but hey ho, it is part and parcel of the learning process. So without wasting any more time, ladies and gents, let's not waste no longer. Let's just get straight into it. Peace. So here we are, ladies and gents, round one, and I'm up against ninjas playing Vanquish Souls for the first time. And this is an interesting game, mainly because of some of the technicalities around ninjas summoning mechanics and just resolution of effects, as well as me piloting the deck for the first time. Now, I will say, I was going to leave the audio in, but Lorcana was also on at the same time as locals, and boy oh boy, it was wild over there. I think there was like 22 plus players playing Lorcana, and I think it was like the first league, and like it was crazy. I heard people running around asking for Mickey Mouse trades and just all kind of madness. But anyway, back to the duel at hand. I think I special summoned Pluton HD on my opponent's turn, and then I normal summoned Raisin, which meant that I ran into a super polymerization, which wasn't fun. I managed to do a few combos off and resolve a few effects, and it turned into a little bit of a back and forth. Now, with regards to the ruling, ladies and gents, what happened was, I believe he went to special summon, I forgot what the name of the ninja was, but it gets changed from attack to defense position. It can special summon as many ninja monsters from the graveyard as possible. And he went to special summon one of his fusion, or should I say one of his fusion monsters, which was contact fused. Now, I understood it as if it hasn't been properly summoned, then it shouldn't be able to be special summoned back to the field. However, when we looked up the ruling after the game, myself and one of the judges was there, it was ruled that because ninjas can special summon or do special summon via the contact fuse mechanic, it means that they can actually be enabled to be special summoned again, which kind of blew my mind, because I was always under the impression that if it's not properly fused or properly summoned an extra deck monster, then it can't be reborn back onto the field in any way, shape or form. But it was ruled that it can do that, and that was somewhere else along the line. I'm not too sure what I don't know, like what game or like what regional that was at, but it was ruled that way. So it was a little bit perplexing, which killed a little bit of time, but I did manage end up taking game one. I just got so much advantage into my hand, ladies and gents. It was absolutely crazy. Game two, again, I think I had like a YCS winning hand. I had like thrusts, I drew into talents. I managed to talents take one of his monsters, and this was the other second ruling that came up. So he chained, I activated talents to take a monster, and then he chained Tabari to fuse into a fusion monster. But on the resolution of the fusion summon, I took control of that monster, so therefore it was summoned, but now I'm in control of it. So I believe I was the one that could have technically decided to destroy a card on field, because it was the Yagamaru that he fused into, I believe. So yeah, it was a bit of an interesting one, ladies and gents. We wasn't too sure who should be able to resolve that, but all in all, I managed to just take that game. I basically dwindled them out of resources, and then I had like 3 cards in hand, and then Borga stayed on field for a couple of turns, which meant that I was just drawing constantly off its effects, which is probably the best advantage engine you have. So I managed to end up taking game one after a load of technicalities, a load of back and forths, but nonetheless interesting to say the least. So coming in here, ladies and gents, to the third and final round. Decided not to record round 2 out of respect for my opponent. He was a returning duelist. He's been away from the game for like 15 years or something like that, and he had a very nostalgic hero deck. Now, he played a lot of vanillas, so obviously he was going to be behind, and he found it a little bit overwhelming with all the new mechanics, the pace of the game and all that kind of stuff. So after our match, I decided to kind of like sit with him and just play a few duels and just kind of like help him with some of like the link mechanic and all that kind of stuff. So it was good to see. He was thankful, and he said he would be here next week. But I managed to win round 2. Round 3, however, which is where we are now, I played against Unchained, and Unchained seems to be everywhere, ladies and gents. It's absolutely crazy.
So game 1, he played his hand correct. He resolved all of his effects in the end phase, which kind of stumped my effects basically, and he played around talents because I was holding on to a talent, I believe, and he just managed to win, out resourced me, just like had too many bodies on field. He linked away some of my monsters, I couldn't really do much, and he won game 1. Game 2, I got kaiju'd, and then he summoned a monster and I flipped there can be only one, and that game was over from then because he didn't have an out to it, and obviously on the clapback I would have just put 8,000 damage on board. So I managed to win game 2. Round 3, game 3, this is where the hijinks happen, ladies and gents. It was a little bit of back and forth. I think I summoned Pluton HD on his turn, and then jumped into Heavy Borgat and I managed to get myself a draw. Loads and loads of back and forth. He banished a lot of his targets for his Unchained Soul of Rage off Prosperity, trying to dig for like starters and that kind of thing, which kind of like proved to be a little bit of a decider because I did have talent as well as a thrust in hand, which I couldn't obviously resolve because he activated a monster effect, but it would have resolved without no effect, or it wouldn't have been illegally been able to like resolve. So that had to get taken back, which meant that I just had 2 dead cards in my hand because obviously I was going second, and he couldn't activate any monster effects. He got into a bit of a grind game. I did kind of somewhat come back into the game, and check this, ladies and gents, I actually set Imperm one of his monsters. He beat over my other monster. I had no monsters on field, and I proceeded to play evenly matched, and I played it in the same column that the Imperm was played in because it was set, which meant that it got negated by my own Imperm, which was just such of a new move by me. It was crazy, and my opponent didn't even catch it, to be honest. I could have just cheated, but I stopped the game and says, look, I've made a mistake. Obviously this can't resolve, so I took that back. Evenly didn't resolve without effects basically because it got negated, and he proceeded to then win the game. And the funniest thing was, ladies and gents, he drew Ash, I believe, for turn. So if that evenly match had went through, he wouldn't have been able to put enough damage on board, and then the draw after that would have been my Raisin, which was crazy. So I potentially could have got back into the game because he had no more negates on field, and he didn't have anything to kind of like extend with in hand, which was just crazy. But ended up losing in the finals, going X1, losing to Unchained. But yeah, a very, very interesting learning experience. Still a few things I need to learn with the deck, ladies and gents, but all in all, very, very enjoyable deck. I love the mechanic. I like the thought process that is required to play this deck, because you make one wrong move and you are dead. So yeah, catch you on the next one.
Okay, ladies and gents, we are back at home. I'm actually in my kitchen about to order some food, and we went X1 at locals. I think there was like 17 players, and it was actually buzzing in the shop for some reason. I think the Lorcana, like locals, was popping as well, so the shop was crazy. But anyway, I managed to finish X1. I lost in the finals against Unchained, believe it or not. Like, everybody seems to be beyond Unchained in my locals. It's absolutely crazy. I actually lost more so because of, there was a few things with those, like loads of misplays in that game. Like, my opponent banished a few of his targets off Prosp, so he wasn't able to resolve Unsold Chain of Rage into any of his like key monsters. And then I played into my own Imperm column like an absolute clown, which effectively lost me the game, because I would have been able to like wall up with a monster and then just survive long enough to be able to kind of like recur some resources and just pop off basically. But nonetheless, there are a few things I feel like I need to change with the deck. I'm not as proficient as I'd hope to be. I feel like there's a few things missing, but again, that comes with time and it comes with testing. So the next couple of locals that I'll go to, I'm definitely going to be making a few refinements, and once I do, I will post my list. But for now, ladies and gents, this is what you're getting in terms of a Vanquish Souls. So be on the lookout for a deck profile. Should be coming very, very soon, hopefully sometime later on this week, because I might be able to make it to locals tomorrow. But all in all, quick time matchups were, I believe it was Ninjas round 1. Round 2, I was playing against a Nostalgia Hero deck. He was pretty like new to the game after being away from it for some time, so I didn't bother to record that match. And then round 3, obviously I lost against Unchained. So all in all, a couple of solid matchups. I mean, Ninjas, if you don't actually respect them, they will just kick your ass. And there's a new ruling that I kind of like learned, which I'll let you guys know in another video, which is coming soon to the channel. But anyway, we find ourselves at the end of another video. If you did like this content, you know what to do by now. Hit that like button, share, subscribe,
all of that beautiful good stuff, and I will definitely see you guys on the next video. Hope you've enjoyed. Peace.